All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Armchair Armdrager podcast. This is episode number 32. As always, I'm your host, Ben Hersick. Now, I know last week I said I was going to do a discussion about working relationships with other companies like WWE with Evolve, New Japan with RevPro and CMLL, and AEW with a couple of other promotions, but I kind of forgot that TLC is this Sunday. They didn't start adding matches till, I believe, Friday Night SmackDown last week. So we're going to be doing TLC predictions, plus there's a couple of other things I want to talk about, specifically over in New Japan since World Tag League finished up, and now we're on the road to Wrestle Kingdom. So before we get into any of that, the always fun, follow me on Twitter at random places. You can follow myself on Twitter at Churros Soldier. You can follow this podcast at Podcast Armchair. You can follow All Things Combat over at Things Combat on Twitter, where we cover professional wrestling, boxing, and MMA. It's time for the end of the year lists, and they are coming out, I believe, from yesterday, December 11th, all the way until December 22nd. So we have things like the honorable mentions for people who just missed out on my top 10 wrestlers of the year. We have breakout stars of the year. I actually had the whole schedule right here. So yeah, yesterday was men's honorable mentions. We had top 10 breakout stars of the year coming out today on the 12th. When this episode goes up, top 10 or the women's honorable mentions will be up. We have things like moments of the year, disappointments of the year, best moments, comeback wrestlers of the year, pay-per-views of the year, tag team of the year, matches of the year, and then top 10 wrestlers of the year for the men's and women's division. Oh, and tag teams of the year. I don't think I've mentioned that one. I don't remember. I have a bad memory of what I recently said. So, yeah. And then I sit down, I'm like, oh right, 3 years ago I said that Omega sucked. I've never said that. I think Omega's a very fantastic wrestler. And also, you can follow the Cauldron at Cleveland State on Twitter at CSU Cauldron. I'm the sports editor over there. This week was finals. We are officially done with the semester, so as soon as I finish these top 10s of the year, I can take a little bit of a break. Finally. I got video games I need to finish. I'm actually looking at the stack right now. There's 5 right in front of my TV that I gotta do. That's gonna be fun. Well, one's Luigi's Mansion. I'm almost done with that. But Pokemon and Fire Emblem, those are gonna take quite a long time. But anyway, that's getting sidetracked. Let's start with the World Tag League final. Now, when I did breaking down and predicting World Tag League, I said that no team has ever won 3. No team has ever been close to winning 3 in a row. There was 2 teams in the field this year that could have won their 3rd World Tag League, and one that could have won 3 in a row. Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Honma they have 2 wins, and they finished with 8 points off the top of my head, I believe. World Tag League. There we go. Let's see here. Makabe and Honma finished with 8 points, so they did not win. They had a very bad one. I can see this is going to be a story somehow, some way, with it being oh yeah, they are just getting back to teaming together again, so it's going to take a while for that chemistry to come back, possibly. If that's the story they're going to go with, fine by me. But the other team was Evo and Sonata. The team I had predicted to win the World Tag League was Ishii and Yoshihashi. They finished in technically 3rd place because of the tie at the top, which I'll talk about in just a second here. GOD technically finished in 2nd, with Tamatonga and Tangaloa getting 24 points. But at the top, you had Evil and Sonata at 26, and the team I originally, when I first did a draft of breaking down and predicting World Tag League, I had them in first. I had them as my pick to win. Juice Robinson and David Finlay, or as they like to be called, Fit Juice. So the final night was the match between Evil and Sonata and Fit Juice. I don't know how I like the whole one block thing. I like having 2 different blocks where you face everybody in your block. Highest score, the 2 guys with the highest scores in each block advance to the finals. Like how they have the best of the Super Juniors in the G1 Climax. Super Junior Tag League I kind of get because of the fact that you have such a small junior heavyweight tag division. You kind of need to have everybody in one block. And then they still advance to a final. So, I don't know, it just happened to be on the final night, Evil and Sonata had to face Juice and Finlay. So, final comes, Sonata and Evil are going for their 3rd straight. And they looked pretty dominant in this tournament. They had only lost, I believe, one match beforehand. Let's see. They lost to Yano and Colt Cabana. That is right. So, in the final, it kind of seemed like it would be Robinson and Finlay too to me, because of the fact that with Sanada's contract status, you don't really know what's in store for him in New Japan, so it's like touch and go at best. So, there's that. Now, we look at it, Robinson and Finlay do end up winning the match, and they advance to Wrestle Kingdom 14 on the first night to face Tama Tonga and Tangaloa for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Overall, I think it's the right call. I think it's a smart call because of the fact that you have Finlay and Robinson, who are a really good tag team, yes, but Robinson's kind of been in the singles division for a little while, and he still might be, technically. It depends on some other booking here. But we'll see how that goes. I'm actually intrigued to see that match because of the fact that GOD have not had a good history facing World Tag League winners. They lost to Evil and Sonata 2 years in a row. Were they even champions going in? Yes, they were, because the Bucks were the third team added. Yeah, so the past 2 years, they've lost to the World Tag League winners. So Robinson and Finlay are kind of like at an advantage right now. I'm going to try and pace out like a predictions video for that, or a podcast for that, because of the fact that it's a 2-night thing. So I might do like a part 1 and a part 2 for that. I'm not 100% sure yet. I need to make my mind because that's coming up really fast. And it seems like the cards are almost set. We have 2 8-match cards. We have on night 1, you have Jushin Liger's 8-man match where it's like him and a whole bunch of his friends from the years. Liger's teaming up with Tatsumi Fujinami, who some of you might know from the WWE games. He was in a couple, I believe. Yeah, he was, I think. It was like 14 and 15, maybe? It was in that time frame. I think it was before the 2K buyout for the series. Or was it during? I don't remember. He's also teaming with the Great Sasuke and Tiger Mask, with El Samurai being in their corner, against Nako Sano. I'm going to apologize for not pronouncing these correctly. Shinjiro Otana, Tatsuhito Takawe, and Ryusuke Taguchi. I don't know how to say his first name ever. They say it different all the time. With Kunakai Kobayashi in their corner. With special referee Nori Honga. And then there's the typical filler tag matches. There's only 2. Los Ingobernables de Japón minus Tetsuya Naito. So Sanada, Evil, Shingo Takagi, and Bushi versus Suzuki-gun of Zack Sabre Jr., Minoru Suzuki, Taichi, and El Desperado. And then there's Chaos with Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi versus Bullet Club, which is Kenta, Bad Luck Fale, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens. I'm fine with these 8-man tags, and I get the purpose of them, especially with Wrestle Kingdom being 2 days and they need to spread out the title matches a little bit. So that's going to be interesting to watch and see because of the fact that some of these play into the next day, but not all of them. Like, the next day in the LIJ versus Suzuki-gun match, Evil, Shingo, and Bushi don't have a match the next day. As of yet. Suzuki, Taichi, and Desperado don't. Ishii, Yano, and Yoshihashi don't. Fale, Yujiro, and Chase don't. It's probably, I guess this is them trying to get everybody on the show. Maybe, I don't know. And then we have some fun matches. We have GOD defending against, is it Finjuice? I say Fit Juice. I've been saying it Fit Juice for 2 years now. I'm going to keep saying Fit Juice. Yeah, GOD defending against Fit Juice with the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles on the line. You have Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley in a Texas death match for the IWGP United States Championship match. That one's going to be brutal. That one's going to be bloody. I'm excited because Archer and Moxley are going to rip each other a new one. Will Ospreay defending his IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship title, against Hiromu Takahashi. That's going to be fun. Returning Hiromu, by the way, that will be his first match back from a severe neck injury he suffered August of last year at the G1 special in San Francisco. That might be the wrong city, but I know it was against Dragon Lee, which will be interesting later. Jay White will defend the IWGP Intercontinental Championship against Tetsuya Naito, and night one ends with Kazuchika Okada defending his IWGP Heavyweight Championship against the G1 Climax winner, Kota Ibushi. If Okada does not lose there, I am very, very agitated. And then night two, it's a little less of the... It's a little more focused on championships. It's actually a lot more focused on championships. So, the first match that is listed is Jushin Thunder Liger's final match, his retirement match. It's a tag team match with Liger and Nakoya Sano with Yoshika Fujiwara, probably inventor of the Fujiwara armbar, for all I know, going against Hiromu Takahashi, and it says here, Ryu-Lee, it's Dragon Lee. They're going against Dragon Lee and Takahashi. Interesting to see how that works because of the fact that Takahashi and Dragon Lee don't have the best history. I actually just noticed something I'm going to address here in a second. Bullet Club, which is Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo, defend the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships against Roppongi 3K, the winners of the Junior World Tag League, Show and Yo. Zack Sabre Jr. defends the Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship against Sonata. That's going to be a fun one. Both guys are phenomenal talent, very good in the ring. Very curious to see the result here. The winner of Archer versus Moxley will defend the IWGP United States Championship against Juice Robinson for whatever reason. I don't really know why, but maybe to fill out the card. That's my best guess. Kenta defends the Never Openweight Championship against Hiroki Goto. I saw this and I'm so upset that it's not Katsuyori Shibata. But like I said plenty of times, if Katsuyori Shibata is not 100% medically cleared to wrestle, I don't want him to take that risk. So I am perfectly fine with Goto getting the shot over Shibata. You have the loser of Okada versus Ibushi versus the loser of Jay White versus Tetsuya Naito. My brain is wanting that to be Okada versus White, but my brain is also saying it's going to be Ibushi versus White. Because reasons. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Chris Jericho is on here. I completely forgot that match was happening. So there goes the other point I want to talk about. No Tanahashi on Wrestle Kingdom. There he is. And then the final match of the Wrestle Kingdom 2-day event is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion versus the IWGP Intercontinental Champion, where the winner gets both championships. I don't want that. I do not want that. I cannot stress this enough how dumb this is. I didn't like the double champion idea going into WrestleMania 35. What makes you think I'm going to like it going into Wrestle Kingdom 14? You don't need one person to be the champion of both brands. You do not need that. You do not need one person to hold both the main event title and the mid-card title. You do not need that. It's just so aggravating to me and so annoying. And so many fans have put uninterest into that, yet they're still going to do it. I mean, if we get Ibushi versus Naito, I'm fine with that. But what's the point of Ibushi having a one-night reign when all the fans are going to want to see Naito get that title? It doesn't make sense to me. Unless that... Well, then you should have just had Naito win the G1 and beat Okada for the championship on the second night of Wrestle Kingdom. New Japan, I love you, but you guys make me so aggravated sometimes. Okay, that is Wrestle Kingdom. A quick rundown of the card. I'm excited. It's January 4th and 5th at 2 a.m. East Coast time. So if I don't have work, guess who's going to be up watching Wrestle Kingdom? Me. If not, I am going to be off of Twitter. I'm going to be off of Facebook. I'm going to be off of everything so that way I do not see any spoilers. And knowing my work, that's going to be really hard. Anyway, it's now on to TLC, where we have 7 matches announced as of right now. It's not the most stacked card, but you look at the matches, there's a lot of potential. Let's see, matches. I don't care about that one. The SmackDown Tag Team Championship match has potential. Black versus Murphy has potential. Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte and Becky have potential. And it depends on who the Viking Raiders face. There's still the Intercontinental Championship and the U.S. Championship that are not on the show. I think that's everybody. We don't count Brock. Bray is on there. Not defending the title, but he's on there. Yeah, that'd be everybody. There's a couple of other feuds we might see on the show, but who really knows at that point? Also, they haven't really booked this to be an interesting show. Like I said, there's potential, but it's not the most exciting show to be watching. So let's start at the top of the card with, according to this, I'm just going based off of Wikipedia. This is because that's where the cards are at, and it's easy to see. To start off the show, and as of right now, there's no kickoff match. I would say move the Viking Raiders Open Challenge to the kickoff, but if a couple certain teams answer it, then maybe don't. But don't put Black versus Murphy on there. Put on 2 matches between people who don't have stories going on right. Oh, the SmackDown Women's Championship's not on the show. That's what I forgot. I don't even know if it will be. Anyway, don't put Black versus Murphy, who have an actual storyline going on. Do not put them on the pre-show. Instead, have Apollo Crews versus... I'm trying to remember everybody on the SmackDown roster now. Have I should have a WWE personnel tab open here somewhere. There it is. So have Apollo Crews versus Cesaro on the pre-show. And add in something I don't know, not that one. Well, maybe. Nah, that wouldn't make sense. And have Akira Tozawa versus Cedric Alexander. There are still guys, like Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles. They're not on the show yet. Like I said, those could be added today, tomorrow, Sunday, Saturday. Who knows? Not me. There's no official ladder match yet announced, so I wouldn't mind seeing a United States Championship ladder match. But anyway, let's start with the match announced for the Raw Tag Team Championships. It's the Viking Raiders defending in an open challenge. There are 3 teams that I wouldn't mind seeing answer this challenge. And they all kind of make sense if you look at things. One is the OC. If Gallows and Anderson answer that call, it makes sense because they beat them in Saudi Arabia to become the best tag team in the world. So you can make the claim that they're technically the real number 1 contenders when there isn't really one. But also, Viking Raiders could beat them, get their win back, get some mojo back, if that's the right word to use there. I'm not sure. But it would give them something. Then there's an NXT team, specifically the Undisputed Era. Because NXT numbers have been looking good. They're not technically beating AEW, but like I said before, I don't really care. I also don't know the ratings at this time. It's 9:35 in the morning when I'm recording this because I have a lot to do today. And this is going to be the easiest thing. I have to finish Christmas shopping. I have to go to the bank. I have to pay a car payment. So I'm like, let's do the easy thing first. Plus, I got to wrap gifts. And nobody knows this, but I suck at wrapping gifts. So that's going to be fun today. So the Undisputed Era and NXT in a whole have been really, really, really good recently. Last night's show was really good from what I heard. I had one last paper to finish, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. But this was maybe one of NXT's better shows against one of AEW's more meh shows. Don't really care for the Bucks versus SCU thing, so if you have an NXT team answer the call, it would make fans be like, oh yeah, NXT, and you could tune in the Raw and SmackDown audience to NXT. NXT isn't for the casual audience to me, though. It's for the more diehard, pure wrestling fan audience. So it's really hard to say what they want NXT to be. I'm not sure what they want it to be yet. I don't know, but it could be just like we now have shows on every other day of the week, and we enjoy this. And plus, it gives sponsors more chance to see NXT talent and say, maybe we want to sponsor WWE or sponsor the specific wrestler. Who knows? But Undisputed Era answering the call would make the casual audience maybe be interested in NXT. And they don't have to go over the Viking Raiders. If it's by like DQ or something, then that's fine. But if it's like they pin the Viking Raiders, that's a little much to me. So we'll see. The third team that I could see answering this call, and the one I really, really, really hope it is the Usos. We haven't seen them since Jimmy, I believe it was. Apologies if I got it wrong, but I think it was Jimmy. It's whichever one is married to Naomi. That's Jimmy. Right? Hold on, I gotta pull up a Naomi tab here. So I want to be accurate. I don't want to, like, say the incorrect thing and then I'm like putting the blame on people it shouldn't be on. I guess it's the good way to say it. It was Jimmy. Okay, good. So yeah, Jimmy was arrested for a DUI. We haven't seen them since. So it's been said they're trained for a comeback. They're ready whenever they need to be. And given the state of the Raw tag team division and WWE's tag team division as a whole, this would be a very much needed return. These are guys who are great in the ring, can get things done, and they make every single tag team they go against look good. They made the team of Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable look great. Both guys are fantastic wrestlers, yes, but as a team, they didn't look that good until they faced the Usos. Same with Rusev and Aiden English. They made those two look really good. So, I would say the Usos would be my preferred pick. If it's the Usos, you can have the Viking Raiders go over, but it has to be like a cheeky win, like a roll-up, an interference run, take advantage of a win, something like that. So, let's see. There's many ways this could go. I think Viking Raiders do end up retaining if it's the OC or Undisputed Era. If it's the Usos, it's a toss-up. Let's move on to the one that I really hope this is the end of the feud. Rusev versus Bobby Lashley in a tables match. It has to be Rusev. It has to be. Fans are so behind Rusev with this. If Lashley wins, it's going to be something cheeky with, like, Lana assisting him, or maybe Lana puts Rusev through the table. I don't know. But I see Rusev winning this simply because of the fact that he just came back, and technically so is Lashley, but Rusev just came back. He's so over in the storyline that it just makes more sense for him to win. You have somebody who fans love and fans are behind against somebody they vehemently hate. So, I think it makes more sense for Rusev to win here. And this is the easiest match in the show to predict. Well, maybe second easiest. Maybe third easiest. Depends on how certain things go. Next listed, you have the Kabuki Warriors defending the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte and Becky do not need this championship win. They do not need it in any way, shape, or form. It should be Kabuki Warriors winning. And I'll explain why I do have the Kabuki Warriors winning. You look at Becky Lynch. She hasn't defended the Raw Women's Championship in, trying to do the math offhand here, two pay-per-views? She didn't defend it at Survivor Series, and she's not defending it here at TLC. She would probably want to defend at the Royal Rumble. There's no real women's division. Excuse me. There's no real women's division on Raw right now. Nobody's like really up to the task to challenge her, except for Charlotte Flair. So this is Raw's issue. They're not building up any women, and SmackDown is doing a little better because like Lacey Evans is at least looking kind of good going into this program with Sasha and Bayley. But with the Raw Women's division, Charlotte doesn't need really much of a push. The explanation's already there. Her and Becky don't like each other. They haven't liked each other for a long time. They used to be best friends. Becky's champ. Charlotte wants it. Cookie cutter story. And that way you don't get Shayna Baszler involved. Because when, I'm sorry, I'm a huge fan of Rhea Ripley, that's why I said that. If Rhea Ripley does win the NXT Women's Championship from Shayna Baszler on December 18th, which is the last edition of NXT for the year, the next week would be taped, and then I'm not sure about the week after. The week after, it might be like January 2nd or something. I don't know the calendar off the top of my head. But it would be weird seeing Baszler then come out confident and cocky 3 days? No. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days after losing. Oh no, it'd be 2 days before. I'm so off recently, Jesus Christ. So it wouldn't make sense to me to see her 2 days before she loses her women's championship on NXT. I would rather her lose. I explained this last week. I'd rather her lose the title, not be seen for an entire month, and then January she's like, the day of the Royal Rumble, she's like number 15 or something, wins the Rumble, last throwing out Charlotte or Sasha Banks maybe, and the next night on Raw challenging Becky Lynch right away. And there's our WrestleMania build the entire way. Becky doesn't have to defend an Elimination Chamber. She doesn't have to defend it at a Fastlane. Her program is set until WrestleMania. So I think Kabuki Warriors can take advantage of Charlotte and, Becky not being friends. So that would work for me, I think. And plus, the WWE Women's Tag Team division isn't really there. So have Kabuki Warriors retain, start building up some sort of team. I don't know who. Give Natalya somebody, give SmackDown a couple people. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I completely forgot about Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I said this too, to a friend of mine. There's no real traditions anymore at WrestleMania. We used to have the Money in the Bank ladder match. We used to have something else that I'm forgetting. The Undertaker undefeated streak, that's what it was. We don't really have that anymore. We don't have... Well, we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and we have the Women's Battle Royal. I enjoy those because of the fact, like, you get everybody who's not on the show in one ring and tell them, go do this, that's the winner, we don't care the rest of the order. Except for, like, maybe a couple things here and there, like the Sasha Bailey thing from the first ever Women's Battle Royal. So, there needs to be more traditions at WrestleMania, at least I feel. What I would like to see is that Women's Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania consistently be a fatal four-way. You take the champions, which in this case would be Rhea Ripley. I just read a tweet from Rhea Ripley. That's why I said Rhea Ripley. You would have Kabuki Warriors. You add in a team from Raw, a team from SmackDown, and a team from NXT. Who would the team from NXT be? I don't know. There's no real... I guess Duke and Shafir, but they're not ready yet. Team Kick is no longer a thing. Maybe you go NXT UK this year, because like Ginny and Jazzy Gabbert would be very interesting. They would probably get a reaction too, given the WrestleMania audience. But I think Kabuki Warriors retain, and they are going to be the champions in the division for a long, foreseeable future. Next on this list is Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. Please do not put this on the pre-show. Please do not. Give these guys 15 minutes to show the world why they should care. Because these two are maybe some of the best pure wrestlers on the WWE roster, specifically on Raw. And Heyman likes the young guys. He's high on Murphy. He's high on Alexander. Although Alexander hasn't looked good recently. He's high on Aleister Black. He is still high on Humberto Carrillo. There's a reason Carrillo beat Andrade. And he's also high on Andrade. He's had a good run. It was a lucky win by Humberto Carrillo. I don't like the decision, but I understand it. So I'm saying that they should go with this match on the main show, show the world why Alexander and Murphy, not Alexander, well, they should show Black and Murphy as future stars. And like after the match, Murphy's like just sitting in the corner, Black just looks over and just like nods and like respect. Because I think Black is winning. I don't think that's ever even really a question, because he's going to be built up to be somebody to be reckoned with. I can see him in the mid-card match at WrestleMania for the U.S. title, depending on who's U.S. champion at the time. Maybe that's a ladder match, who knows. But this is a match that I want to be given time. This is a match I want to watch, because I like these two so much. Give them a chance to show you how good they are. And we could be talking in a couple months, Aleister Black or Buddy Murphy as United States champion. And maybe in a couple years, these two will face off again for a world championship. Whenever the hell we get rid of Brock Lesnar. Whenever the hell that is. Then there's Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. This is an interesting feud. Bryan's taking a little time off to kind of prolong the story with Bray Wyatt, kind of add depth to it. So let's see how that goes, and let's see where that brings us with this story, because of the fact there's a lot of story there to tell. I think Bray Wyatt versus Bryan will be a thing we see at the Rumble. And then maybe, who knows, we'll see where Bryan goes after that. But I think this match versus The Miz for Bray Wyatt is very interesting. It shows that The Fiend doesn't have to be involved in every single feud. It shows that there's an interest in seeing what Bray Wyatt does. Since it's non-title, does Miz maybe win? I don't know. Now, this could also all change because I record this on Thursdays, SmackDown's on Fridays, so who really knows? But I think it's a safe bet to have Bray Wyatt win. Maybe there's a little interference somehow, some way with something, who knows what exactly. But I think Wyatt does win in the end because of the fact that you have this character you've been building up for so long. It would kind of be weird to see him lose in his first outing. We haven't seen Bray Wyatt wrestle in a long time. We've seen The Fiend wrestle. We haven't seen Bray Wyatt himself. Is he going to wear the sweater vest? Is it going to be the old Bray Wyatt garb? I kind of hope it's a sweater vest because that would be hilarious. But, I mean, to be fair, his dad wrestled in a button-down shirt and suspenders. So, I would like to see Bray Wyatt win here simply because of the fact that it makes more sense. They've been building him up for longer. I'd like to see Miz maybe have a story with a certain somebody else going into Mania for a certain tag team title. I've been one of the few people saying this. I want a Miz and Morrison reunion, and I want them to go to WrestleMania and win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. They are on SmackDown, yes. Okay. I also want Miz to go back to wearing the fedora and the shorts. I want that. Just for one night. He wears the shorts. He wears the hat. He has the faux hawk. Do it. Please. Just one time. Just once. Next is the last championship match actually on the show, at least listed on here as of right now. New Day defending the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Revival. It's an interesting one because you don't really know what's going to happen. Recently, a lot of people who have who have been happy with the company have gotten some pushes here and there. You've seen them a little more. So it's interesting to say the least because of the fact that we know the Revival's displeasure. Part of me thinks it's only to get more money. Part of me thinks the Revival stays. But who really knows? Do I see them winning it here? Maybe not. Maybe some New Day shenanigans happen. I think New Day does win, but I don't think it's necessarily quote-unquote clean. There's some sort of joke they do, some sort of gag, and this prolongs until maybe Royal Rumble. So, it's also weird because, at the beginning of this year, Kofi was in a World Championship run. And then he won the championship, and he was champion for almost 200-some-odd days. And now he's a tag team champion. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy Kofi is still being used, but it's just weird that we went from him being the top dog on SmackDown to back in the tag team ranks. Partly because of Xavier Woods' injury, yes, I understand that, but overall, it's kind of underwhelming, I guess. So, I do think New Day retains, and this prolongs till the Rumble. And The final match listed on this card that we're looking at is Roman Reigns versus King Corbin in a TLC match. I just want this feud done. I'm not a fan. I didn't enjoy the dog food thing. I didn't hate it because they even kind of teased it on Twitter. They're like, how is King Corbin going to humiliate Roman Reigns this week? You knew something was going to happen. And you knew it probably wasn't going to be good. So, we already knew what was going to happen going into the show. There's no point in being mad about it, but I just was not a fan of it. But I think this has to be the end of the feud. Roman should win. Roman's the front runner to win the Rumble. Him and Kevin Owens are the only two that make sense for the men. So, have Roman win here. End this feud. Go on to the Rumble. Maybe we see him eliminated by Nakamura to set up that feud for WrestleMania, for all we know. And then we see Corbin go on to do something else with somebody else. Maybe he won't go back to Chad Gable. He's not going to go to Roman Reigns. I don't know what Corbin would do after this. There's got to be some other face on SmackDown that I'm forgetting, but who knows? Maybe New Day does lose and we get Kofi versus Corbin. Who knows? But I also think it doesn't make sense for this to be a TLC match. There's nothing really to fight for. I feel like it's just so Corbin can get speared through a table. But I'm honestly not a fan. I don't really care. I'm not invested. So whatever happens in this match, let it happen. I'm fine with it. But that is TLC predictions. I spent half of this video talking about Wrestle Kingdom, and I spent half of it talking about TLC. It's pay-per-view year. Pay-per-view time. Excited. We're almost on the road to WrestleMania, guys. Woo. But just to recap the predictions, for the Viking Raiders Open Challenge, I have one of three teams answering the call. It's either the OC, the Undisputed Era, or the Usos. If it's one of the first two, Viking Raiders retain. If it's the Usos, real toss-up. I have Rusev over Bobby Lashley. I have Kabuki Warriors retaining over Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. I have Aleister Black over Buddy Murphy. Bray Wyatt over The Miz. New Day retaining over Revival. And Roman Reigns over Baron Corbin. Thank you guys so much for listening this week. Like I said, I'm trying this new format where these are a little shorter, which is really working out well for me because I still have a lot of time to go do stuff. Next week will probably be a recap. We'll see how TLC goes. Who really knows? So, let's see. We have recap. Then we have a week before Wrestle Kingdom, I believe. I'm going to pull up my calendar. So right now it's the 12th. TLC's on the 14th. Recap would be on the 20th. 27th would have to be Wrestle Kingdom predictions. Okay. So next week will be the recap of the entire show of TLC, followed by Wrestle Kingdom predictions. And the week after that will be Wrestle Kingdom reactions, thoughts, analyst, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, thank you guys so much for listening. You can follow myself on Twitter at Churro Salader. You can follow this podcast, the podcast Armchair. Follow All Things Combat, which is a website I write for where we cover professional wrestling, boxing, and MMA at Things Combat. Our end of the year lists are starting, and I still have 2.5 to do. So after I finish this Christmas shopping and some other stuff that I'm not going to talk about because it's personal, I'll probably either start that late tonight or tomorrow at work. We'll see. You can follow them at Things Combat. I don't remember if I said that. And you can follow the Cauldron at Cleveland State, where I'm the sports editor over at CSU Cauldron. Thank you guys so much for listening. All the articles that I write when they come up will be linked in the description below. I will see you guys next week with TLC reactions, thoughts, analysis. I don't know what to call it exactly, but we'll see what it is. We'll see how it goes. It has the potential to be a good show. Let's see if they can pull it off. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like what you heard, hit the like button, subscribe if you want, leave a comment if you want. I will see you guys next week.